Hello and welcome to the CSG Engineering Society YouTube CAD video series. In this video, we're just going to go over the basics of NX assembly. I'm going to show you how to move some components around, how to measure some key values of a component. So this might be helpful if you want to design a new component afterwards. And I'll show you guys how to display the lightweight and the exact versions of a component. Okay. Now, in the following assembly videos that will come out, you can access all of the CAD files through this Google Drive right here. The link to this drive will be available to all of you through in the video description. Okay. Now, most of these assembly files, they come from online sources, and the sources list will be in this document over here. So you can go support the original creator of the work through their GrabCAD profile. Now, for this video, we're just going to use the fidget spinner assembly. So go through here and download all of these files. It will come out to you as a zip file, which you'll then need to extract. Now, what I will show you before we actually get into making our assembly, I'm going to show you the series of steps that we'll be taking, okay? So let's let it unload first, disassemble first. Okay, so when we begin, we will first load in the bearing to be at the origin, and then we're going to load in the cover, then the spinner first, the spinner body first, and then the covers, the cover caps, and then the weighted rings that go around it, okay? So let's make a new assembly file. Let's close this. I don't need this anymore. I'm going to make a new assembly file. Assembly. Give your assembly file a good name. Fidget spinner video for me. And save it in a suitable location as well. So click this open and save it in a good location. Press on OK at the bottom right. So to avoid some errors, because the bearing file has caused some issues beforehand. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to load in the bearing first. I'm going to cancel first, file, open, bearing, okay. And now that it's loaded in, I can go back to the assembly tab, and now I can go to assemblies tab over here, add component, and now I can add the bearing in. Okay, but before I do, I'm going to first load in all of the other components. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bearing. Actually, I'm just going to chuck everything in. So all of it, hold control, and just press over here, select object, and just chuck them all into there. Okay, we're going to duplicate it later. Press on OK. Now, what we do know is that we need to have 3 of these rings over here. So we'll click on it, add component, and we're going to add 2 more of them. Okay, so we're going to add 1, 2, and the location will be around here. So now we have a total of 3 of these rings. Click on apply. We need 2 of these covers. So we'll click on it, add 1 more of it, select location, and place it there, and click on apply. Now this should be everything, right? We have 1 bearing, 1 fidget spinner body, we have 2 plates and 3 weighted rings. This should be good. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll go to the assembly navigator over here on the top left. So now we can see all of our loaded in components. We can even see how many instances of rings we have. So we have 3 rings and we have 2 covers. If you want to, for some reason, maybe give them different colors, maybe. So maybe you don't want to paint them both in blue, but you want to make one of them blue and one of them red. What you can do is you can right click on the duplicate component and click on unpack. And now that they're unpacked, you can select each one of them individually. Okay, but for now we're just going to leave them as packed. Okay, we're now going to move the bearing to the origin. So what we'll do is we'll click on move, and we will use the point-to-point movement. Okay, so we'll click on the bearings. So click on the component first, click on the bearing first, and then the points. So from the points on the bearing, we'll select the arc over here. And what you'll notice is that once you click on it, it selects the arc center. So right there, it selects the point right there. And the point that you want it to travel to is to the origin. This point is the 0, 0, 0 coordinate, and you can specify that by clicking on the dialog over here, and it will enter the 0, 0, 0 for us. Click on OK, and there we go. Now once it is here, once it is at the origin, we can click on it and then fix the component. Okay. If for some reason your bearing was already fixed, or if any of your other components were fixed by default, what you can do is you can go to the left over here, open up constraints, and delete what you don't need. So right now I'm going to keep the fixed bearing because I've positioned it in the right location. But if it's not, you can just delete it. Okay. Now we will just bring in the other components close by. We're not going to constrain them yet. We're just going to show you the move tool a bit more. So move component. I'm just going to put the components. I'm going to face in this view over here. Okay. I want to see the stuff from a side view. Okay. And I'm just going to bring the components nearby. So select component. I'm going to bring all of them nearby because it's a bit far away. Using the dynamic tool, and I'm just going to bring everything close by. That should be fine. Click on apply. Okay, now I will just, there's a cover. Okay, so there's two covers over here. I need one cover to be on this side over here, and one cover I need to be flipped around. I need to face the other direction. So I'm just going to click on this cover over here, specify orientation, and I'm just going to rotate it like so. Click on apply, and the other cover I'm going to move it to the other side. Okay, and as for the body, I'm going to bring it a bit closer like so. That should be fine. And as for the weighted rings, I'm going to roughly place them like so here. So there, apply, there, apply, and the last one I'll fix later. So you can rotate a view orthogonally by just clicking on the edge over here. So that line over there, like so, and look at that mess. Okay, so what we'll do is now we'll just center it a bit better now. So click on this component, orientate it, specify orientation, and we're just going to translate it to the left, like so. Apply, translate this to the left, click, translate, apply, click on this. Actually, before we move that, let's first move the body to the left first. Let's move it to the left, roughly in the middle there. Perfect. Apply. Let's move the ring now to the right, to the rough location. Let's move it to there. Apply. There. Move. Boom. Apply. Click. Specify. Move. Apply. Now we'll return back to this other view over here by clicking on the left. And now we'll just bring this a bit more closer. So click on the component and just bring it a bit more closer. Okay, and that should be done. Now we can just rotate this around. Yeah, and that's basically that's fine. You know, we're gonna start assembling now. Okay, so actually no, we're not gonna assemble. What I mean by not assembling is not constraining yet. So what I want to show you now is the measure tool. So we'll go on to analysis, click on measure, and we can get some key values of components. So for example, I want to know if this bearing actually fits, sorry, this ring over here actually fits inside this gap over here. So the diameter, so if I click once, by default, it tells me that the diameter of this circle here is 22 mil. Reset here, just to clear everything. And then if I click here, the diameter of this gap over here is also 22 mil. So you could use this just to verify some parts before you combine them. You could use this, so you can use a measure tool. So I often use the measure tool just to create some new parts by using the already given assembly. And we can also measure some other parts as well. So reset. We can measure the inner diameter of this bearing over here and the diameter of this pad as well. We can even measure the surface to surface distance. So in other words, the thickness of this body over here, and compare it to the thickness of this bearing, sorry, this ring over here as well. So click here once, click here, and every click that you do, they appear over here as a list over here. So the first click is object 1, second click is object 2. And let me just bring the values over here. We don't need the angle measurement, so let's click over here. Let's get rid of the angle measurement. The minimum distance over here, it tells you that the thickness of this plate is 7 mil. And if I reset, measure the distance from here to here, get rid of the angle measurements, I get that it is also 7 mil. Okay, so the diameter of the ring and the thickness of the spinner body is consistent. Okay, let's press cancel. And finally, I wanted to show you guys the lightweight and the exact options you have in an assembly. So I'm going to highlight. So right now, I don't know if you noticed, but right now everything looks so polygonal. Like they look very they don't look perfect. Okay, what you can do is you can highlight everything or just highlight an individual part, and you can right click over here to show exact, like so. So now your components now, they should show a more precise and a more refined component now. Okay, but even so, it is still not perfect. So what you can do, and this could be your own research, you can just go into NX and make this refined version even better. You can tinker with it. Okay, I just haven't recapped the video on how to do that yet. Okay, you can put it back in lightweight mode as well, just by highlighting everything, and then right clicking here, show lightweight, and this will now make it more polygonal. And the reason why you would want it to be lightweight is just to save some resources. You don't want to load everything fully, otherwise the computer might not be able to run it. So the bearing, for instance, there's so many detailed components. You probably want the bearing to be lightweight and not exact, for example, okay? So this will help out with large assemblies that you have. All right, in the next video, we'll go over constraining these components, and we'll also show you how to make a new part using the existing assembly. Okay, thank you.